Mississippi is home to a bluebird trail, and we went to Lamar County to discover just how and why these trails have become a beneficial hobby. District Conservationist with the Soil Conservation Service of Lamar County, John Monroe.
Nationwide, the bluebirds, which include the eastern mountain and western bluebirds, are just basically holding their own. There might be a slight increase, but in certain areas of the country, especially the eastern bluebird population, was reduced by as much as 90% in the 1950s and 60s. Loss of habitat, severe winters, and that type thing. But the important thing is to get these artificial nesting boxes, whether they're whatever kind of wood it might be, get these things in place, and the birds will really accept them.
As a commissioner with the Soil Conservation Service, Sam McClendon has become very involved in this project.
John got the commissioners, each one of us, a box when they started putting the trail in. And I had really never thought anything about the bluebirds a whole lot, but when we put the box up, we started seeing more and more bluebirds. We have 12 to 15 houses up now, probably. We put up probably 2 dozen, but we're having a lot of trouble with the competition from our cattle. Putting them on fence posts, they're rubbing the posts, and curious too, and they've knocked them down. Most of the ones that are up now all have eggs in them or have had eggs in them. We've seen a lot of bluebirds around since we first put up that first house a couple of years ago, and had never really paid any attention to them, until we did it. And we saw all the birds that were coming in and, around because of that. We decided we'd put up a lot more.
Charting the bluebird trail for us, Commissioner Bill Jordan.
I understand it started in a county up near the Tennessee border. Tishomingo County, is that correct? And they got interested in it, and through their technicians, the word spread through the district, through the state office of this bluebird trail. And each county just picked it up as it came down to them. And we extended it through Lamar County, and it extends from the Tennessee border to the Gulf of Mexico. We purchased the boxes, and then our employees, and John in particular, they established that they got out and physically fastened them to the trees along the highway.
We put up a box last year in a new location out at Oak Grove School, and they raised 3 clutches of 5 each time, to 15 young birds.
At the Oak Grove Elementary School, teacher and commissioner Penny Katitsky has gotten her students excited about studying bluebirds.
We've learned some things. We've learned some do's and don'ts as well. But the purpose was to try to make the students aware of the value of life and the fact that bluebirds have a place in the ecological field also, and to make them more appreciative of this, and also to let them know that they have the utmost value. There are no minuses about a bluebird. A bluebird's beautiful, doesn't do anything harmful, and only helps us. We're working on the feeding station. We have a unique bluebird feeding station, which we keep supplied when we can with white raisins. They're voracious eaters of white raisins because the mockingbirds come along and take a little bite every now and then too. But we keep the feeding station full and watch it, make observations of it, and try to leave the nesting boxes alone as much as possible.
And I really enjoyed the bluebirds because I've gotten to learn a lot about them.
Hopefully this will go with them, that this training, they go at it, it's a pyramid fashion. They go home and they educate their parents. They're the best teachers in the world. Right. And then their parents say, oh, well, let's do that too. Let's try that too. So it's a pyramiding effect.
Well, they were becoming pretty well extinct, but now they're making a comeback, and we're trying to get the bluebird boxes little enough that they can fit in and no other birds can come in but little ones.
Of course, other creatures think that the bluebird houses are for anyone.
This is another house that a titmouse has moved in, and they say it's a real good bird also, and she's got eggs in that one also. We have one or two more. We've had a beehive that's moved into one, and we've had a flying squirrel that got one.
The most important thing about the nesting box itself is the 1.5-inch opening. That allows our eastern bluebird entrance into the hole, but it will keep European starling from getting in. It's too small of a hole for him. A bluebird nesting box is usually built out of some weather-resistant wood, such as cypress or cedar, and they're approximately 10 inches deep, and you need about 8 inches or so beneath the opening of the box to make sure there's plenty of depth there, because of the height of the box is, the nest itself is about 3 to 4 inches, and you need it that deep to protect against predators trying to get a leg, paw inside to get to the young birds and to the eggs themselves. The boxes should be mounted in open areas, not in heavy woods, shaded areas, but they do better when they're out in the open. About 3 to 5 feet off the ground, measuring to the bottom of the box. It's a good height for them.
The male bird will find one of these boxes and allow the female to approve. She'll then build her nest and lay her eggs, an average of 5.
When the eggs hatch out, they usually do that basically on the same day, and then she begins feeding them, and the male joins in with the feeding process. And these young birds can be fed 30 times a piece during the day, and it takes a lot of time. And as soon as the young ones leave the nest, which can be 14, 17 days thereabout, when they leave and they fledge, the female will oftentimes start building a new nest and start another clutch of eggs.